Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first. Your dogs deserve the very best, and that's exactly what Elite Nutrition Canine Products delivers. Packed with premium ingredients and backed by science, their formulas are designed to boost energy, support joint health, and keep coats shiny and strong. Whether you've got a working dog, a hunting partner, or just a loyal best friend, Elite Nutrition gives them the fuel they need to thrive. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the nutrition your dog deserves. Find Elite Nutrition Canine Products today and give your dog the elite edge. Go to shopeliteglobal.com and use the code TREE10 on your next purchase.
Okay, like I said, I used to go down to Kentucky for probably 20, 25 years. You know, about every fall I'd go down there, usually the last week of October, and squirrel hunt with my dad with dog, of course. And most time, I'd say if you kill 10 squirrels in a day, 7 or 8 of them would be young. My dad would say that's a second litter of grays, you know.
Okay.
And because they have a litter early in the spring, you know. And one time me and my brother were hunting together, and I took a shotgun because they was hunting on my aunt's place, and there's a few rough grouse back there. I said, I'll carry this in case we jump a grouse. And we treed a dog treed squirrel. I gave my brother, he's carrying a rifle. I said, now shoot that squirrel in the head. I'm after the meat, you know. And he shot it. Here's one of them little young grays, and he said, Russ, I said, yeah. He said, what you should have done, lay the ear of corn to the roots of that tree to give that squirrel a chance to grow up. But I like to get them little small ones. They fry good, gravy and biscuits, you know, pretty tasty, you know. Yeah, I've had several good squirrel dogs. Sold several, you know. Normally, down through the years, that's been my hobby. Crazy old man. I like to fool with a pup. When it gets running and trained, I'm about, you know, I can't say if I get more out of it. I'm done with it.
Okay.
I sell it and then start over, you know.
Yeah.
And you run, when you're dealing with the public, you run into all kinds of guys. And I had years ago, you had run a written ad, you know, full cry to sell a dog.
Yep.
I'd send an ad send in this month, and he'd come out next month, full cry, you know.
Yeah.
Some guy called and wanted to talk at the pup I had advertised, and I told him what all he'd do. He said, how old is it? And I don't remember now, 7 or 8 months old. I mean, good and bold. He said, you don't have no squirrel dog in. I thought, what'd you say? You ain't got no squirrel dog. I said, well, it's running. I can kill my limit with. I don't know what you expect. Well, the dog's got to be 2 or 3 years old to be a squirrel dog, honey. Not in my opinion.
Some people, that's the way they think.
Well, and then you'll deal with some, you know. I've had them. You got fox squirrels up in your country? I said, yeah. Will he tree a gray squirrel? I said, if he'll tree a fox squirrel, he'll tree a gray squirrel. Huh? Oh, there's a difference. Come on, man. I was raised in Kentucky on gray squirrels. I know what a gray squirrel is.
Yeah.
But, you know, you run into all kinds of deals. But, yeah.
Why don't you, before we get too far into this, why don't you introduce yourself?
Huh?
Why don't you introduce yourself, Russ?
Russ Vanwinkle from Centerville, Indiana, where I live now, but originally from Jackson County, Kentucky.
How old are you, Russ?
92.
92.
Yeah.
And you're still fooling with these dogs, huh?
Oh, still. Coon hunt, squirrel hunt.
Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, well, my doctor told me years ago, he said, and I never did forget this, he said, of course I'd probably done it anyhow, but he said, I put you in the top 90% of my patients physically, you know. He said, because you hunt and garden and fool. I got a little 40-acre farm down there or something, but he said, I've seen so many of my patients. Well, I've worked 30, 40 years here in the shop, you know, factory or whatever. When I get back, when I retire, I'm kicking back. He said they do kick back and they bury them pretty shortly.
Yeah.
He said, what you doing, keeping you going, said, don't sit down.
Yeah.
You like to work your dogs, hunt them.
Yep.
So
it keeps you active.
it does, and so I'd like I said, I'd practice that where he told me that or not, because I like to fool my dogs, you know. I got hearing aids when I got them back a year or two ago. She said, you want me to hook him up? When you fall, it'll dial 911. I said, devil, no. Well, it goes into the doctor, and, you know, when you get my age, you got to go a couple of times a year, see if you're still mobile, I guess, and asked you all kinds of dumb questions. And you fell lately? I said, matter of fact, I did. Boy, she got all excited. Did you fall over a throw rug or what? You got any throw rugs down? I said, no, I was coon hunting the other night and hung my foot in a vine. You crazy thing. I said, I know what you was talking about. But
heck, I don't care how old you are. Coon hunting, you're bound to fall sooner or later.
Yeah, that's what I told her. She said, I ain't talking about that kind of falling. I said, no, I ain't fell in the house if that's what you're talking about. Then they asked you them dumb questions about, it made my sister, when they started talking that way to her, made her nervous. All get out, they'll ask you to count the months backwards and all this and, you know, all kind of silly stuff. And then she said, I'm going to tell you about this guy. Told me his name. He lived in Chicago, and she told me the street he lived on. Name was Jones or whatever his first name was. And said, I'll be back in a few minutes, and you tell me what it is about this guy again. So I sat there and pondered that over and over, you know. She come back. Now, what did I tell you that guy's name, where did he live? And I told her. And I said, you're partially right, lady. I said, he used to live at that address. He sold that and he's moved. She said, there ain't nothing about you. But, yeah.
So you're 92. You're still fooling with these dogs. When did you get started with dogs?
Probably 50, 60 years ago. Well, I fooled a squirrel dog when I was going to high school.
Okay.
When I was still home. And then I got into coon hunting. And after I left Kentucky, I got into coon hunting. I've had some good English dogs and good walker dogs. And then I got to squirrel hunting, got into that and got hooked on that. I've probably been in that 50, 60 years or something.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
So do you prefer a good cur dog, or do you like a good hound?
No, I like a cur.
Okay.
Because to me, they're a lot more sensible than a hound. In fact, I was kidding a guy. He's down there one time. He's a hound hunter, you know. And we down there, and I turned my cur out, and it trotted around a little bit. And I opened the gate and said, come back here. It went right in that lot, you know, like kid you're talking to. He said, how'd you ever get that dog to broke mine like that? I said, I got the hound out of it. But no, either one of them a trio, a coon, you know, hound or cur, either one. But I prefer a cur because they handle better, and 99% of them is silent on the track, you know.
Yeah.
When they bark, they treat, you know. And they'll treat coon or squirrel, either one. So I just like them. Handle a lot better. Seem me like a hound, you know.
Yeah.
I've had some of them. You kick butt good, and then they won't. They jump right back up on you. You know, they'd be friends. With a cur now, a little different dog. I have one super nice cur, and me and my cousin hunted together quite often. And that thing one morning we started hunting, and I went and opened the tailgate down in the garage, you know, for him. I was going to load him up before I get the dog box door open. Up where he jumped before I get the door. I said, jerked him back off. I said, wait a minute till I get this door open. Back up on there he come again. So I jerked him back again. And that time I kicked his bus. I said, you stay down here till I get this dog box door open, Buck. So, okay, when I got it open, I told him to hop in. So we went hunting, he'd always, when either one of us shoot a squirrel, he'd bring it to me because I'm feeding him,
Yeah.
He's my dog. But that day, for about a week, he would go around me and give it to my cousin. That sounds like a story, but
no, I get it. These care dogs are quirky like that.
He said my cousin said that teach you to kick him on him, pet on him. So I said, well, I ain't gonna do that anymore. But it took me a week or so to get him bring me back him squirrel. But yeah, I'm partial to curs. I had some good English dogs, super good layup dogs,
Yeah.
My brother had a dog out of western Kentucky, a red tick. He come up here one time. Me and my older brother lived here in town, and a friend of ours all had walkers. And my brother brought this English dog up here. Well, his first night of coon season, kill season in November, it was warm for that time of year, and them coon evidently wasn't steering. And so we turned loose. Just a few minutes, that old dog just started treeing, never made a running bark. So my brother, he's kind of a kidder anyhow, and we shot that coon, most didn't hit the ground, the dogs pounced on it, squalling and carrying on, And so the guys hunted with, he said, let's skin him out, and he's carrying him, So me and him started skinning it. My older brother and brother just next to me said, well, we'll start the dogs on down through the woods while you're skinning, And I said, okay. Well, he didn't go, no piece, treed again. And Boyd said, my brother said, listen. So I believe he's on a den tree. Yeah. So my older brother and him went up there, and naturally it was a den tree. But my older brother come back, he said, if this guy calls that dog and calls him right one more time, I'm going to house. But my brother explained to me when we got back to the house, he said what I thought. And it ain't my first coon hunt. Dogs are fighting that coon and squalling, carrying on. If he's around close and hears that, they tree him, he's going home, he's going to den. That's what I was gambling on, and it paid off, But we kept hunting that night, and he was smoking us just every few minutes, that dog tree. Not make a run, bark this tree. And we'd kill the coon. Well, finally, my older brother, we all had walkers. And good dog when the tracks was on the ground.
Yeah.
But my older brother said, Boyd, what'd you bring that blame silent dog up here on us for? And I'll never forget, Boyd said, is your guy's dog silent? He said, no. He said, well, I ain't heard him bark. And he said, Earl, them coon ain't stirring. It's hot, warm night.
Yeah.
And they're lazy. They're laying up, eating acorn. My old dog don't care if he's up a tree or on the ground. If it's up a tree, he's going to tree it.
Yeah.
Wins him, I guess. I don't know what he done, but he'd smoke you, honey. Well, I got a pup out of him and do the same thing. And we took off, went to Minnesota coon hunting. Drove, 7 or 8 hours to get out there. And, got out there tags. Then coons have been high a year or two before that. Okay. A lot of guys go out there and kill their coons. Well, then sportsmen, I guess, got together. We need to stop some of these foreigners coming in here killing all their coon, So they sold you 12 tags, $100, $40 for a license. So it was $140. My brother said, I ain't going to pay that. That's just too much for a coon hunt. I said, I didn't drive 8 hours out here to go back empty-handed. I'm going to go coon hunt. And that one guy went with us, lived there, took us up to the courthouse. He said, Shorty, I called my brother Shorty. He said, I've around a salesman here in town. I know a lot of people, and I've seen the hearse. Well, a lot of funeral processions going through town down through the years. I've yet to see a armored car following that hearse to bury the man's money with. Get your butt in there and get them license. So he went back in there and got his license. But we killed some big coon out there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun down through the years, cooning and squirreling, but.
I've never been to Minnesota, but I went to Michigan a couple years ago, and I went to the UP, and right before I went into the UP, I saw a dead coon on the side of the road, and it was right at the beginning of October. And I tell you what, that's probably the biggest coon I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
laying alongside of the
yeah.
road. I was
Well,
like,
that's the way there was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's the reason they paid a big price for them back
Yeah.
when fur was good, Yeah, a guy worked construction. He'd quit in the wintertime and go out there and rent a cabin or something and stay about all winter. Coon hunt.
On my way up here
making
this morning,
more money,
I was talking to a good friend of mine who's been on the podcast before, Richard Bailey, and he was telling me that, and he's told a similar story on the podcast that he quit multiple jobs for the wintertime because he's like, I could make more money coon hunting than I could working in any factory or working construction or.
That's the same with this guy. Yeah.
So he's like, I'd quit every year.
Yeah. I think that's the reason I figured this sportsman or somebody got together. Used to, it wasn't, the limit wasn't like, you had to buy tags like a deer tag.
Okay.
They allowed 12 tags. Was $100.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that, but
yeah,
I get it. I mean,
yeah, that was in 84, I believe. I bought a new Ford pickup and I drove out there. Yeah. But yeah, I've had some good English dogs now. But getting back to that story, we started hunting and hunted a lot of where we had permission. That guy went with us. We didn't know squat about that country,
Yeah.
And well, this guy went with us a few nights and lived there, and a lot of fence rows and ditch line. Wasn't a lot of big woods, like I was used to. And well, I had that night light, popping top of them trees pretty regular. My older brother had that English dog. He said, "What do you keep shining them trees for?" I said, "I'm trying to find a coon's eye. I want some of my $140 back, boy." And he said this. He said, "If my dog went down that fence row, and you find a coon setting up that he ain't treed, I'll give you another $20 on top of what you get out of that hide." I said, "I am going to look now."
Yeah, now I am.
But I never found there neither. His dog or mine would tree them blame layups.
Mm-hmm.
And my older brother, one I was talking about, I accusing him of having them silent dogs. He come up there and hunting with me one time where I lived down. And his in the summertime was just pleasure, running their dogs. That thing of mine was just treeing every few minutes. Well, his wouldn't make a bark because squirrels up in them coons up in them wild cherry trees.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know where he wins them. I don't know how he done, but he treat them. And Earl's dog wouldn't make a bark, And we started back to the house. We was both working then. And I put a lead on him. Of course, I kind of learned my dog pretty shortly. If there's a big tree around and you let him bite it, I want to smell on that tree. Mm-hmm. And I'd give him a little lead, And Earl didn't pay no attention to it, but if he pulled me over to a big tree, I'd let him go around it. We got almost back to the house. He pulled and wanted to go over to this big tree, and I gave him a little slack, and he went around that tree or time to and started treeing. Earl said, "What's he doing?" I said, "He's got a coon tree." "You leading him?" I said, "Yeah." "Come on, Russ, he ain't got nothing up that tree." I back up and shine him. There's a coon sitting up there, but just. Yeah, he was.
I've had that happen once.
Yeah, them dogs like that's hard to handle,
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a cur off of Chuck Loudon.
Yep.
Out of Pepper and Geronimo.
Okay.
That was Geronimo's Pepper was his grandmother. So I brought that dog home. And it's 6 months old. Couldn't wait to take it to hunt, Me and my grandson took a little walk down through the woods, and I had on lead. I don't, he's new, and I don't want to lose him. And I turned my other dog loose where he treated a squirrel. I told my grandson, I said, "Shoot that squirrel out." He shot it out. I thought, well, he'll grab it, Mm-hmm. I ain't touching that squirrel. I hanged it up. He would. It's just like he's looking off. I ain't fooling with that. I thought, what if I bought here? He ain't even looking at that squirrel. I don't believe he could have melted it and poured it in his mouth, He just didn't want nothing to do with it. And I thought, daggone. So I kept him around a few days till he got a little more used to me. And I said, well, I'll turn you loose by himself. I walked him down back of the house, and I seen he smelt track around there. He is easy 20, 30 feet from every tree. He just throwed his head up there and started treeing. Hit in February and not a leaf on the tree,
Yeah.
Locust. And I thought, you're treeing here and you ain't even on no tree. And there's right in the fork of that tree, there's a little small nest, wouldn't mount to much. I said, must be a squirrel in that or something. He wouldn't treat on that, and I shot in there. That squirrel bailed out, and he took it around the hill and treated. And then he kept getting better. Numerous squirrels, he'd be 30 feet off a tree, just start treeing. You look a tree over, well, gosh, you turn him loose and coon hunting at night, especially in the summertime when young coon was down.
Yep.
He might tree 3 or 4 up in the tree. Other dogs, what's he doing? He just go around on his hind feet, start barking. You shine up there, you'd find some eyes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And now, Chuck told me this, and I don't know if I'm 100% agree with this. You might, everybody's like armpits, everybody's got opinions, But I told Chuck, I said, that dog got the best nose any dog ever owned. He said, all dogs got the same nose. I can't hardly buy that. But
I've heard that, and I've heard the opinion of they all have the same nose. It's just a matter of the way they use it and the brain in between them.
Well, that's exactly what he said. He said if he's got the brain to go with that nose, he'll know what to do with it. Some dogs don't.
Yeah.
Well, I never thought of it in that way, but I took him coon hunting with a neighbor guy, and a night or two he had a young dog, and this was a young dog too. He wasn't a year old, and he was just bam every few minutes. He said he called one night to come over. I'm tired of riding that back seat, so to speak. I'll show you what a coon dog is. Well, we turned loose and shot in there and treed. I told you, well, just in a few minutes, mine treed the other direction. Go down there, and I said, there's that your coon. Done that 2 or 3 times that night. Yeah, I don't know where he wind him, I don't know what he done, but he got the coon treed in him.
Conkey's Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkey's motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkey's carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
But I bought a lot of dogs off Loudon, and if I was going to buy one today, that'd be where I'd hunt.
Where you go?
That'd be where I'd go for a squirrel dog. They keep it, well, like a story Adam told me a while back. He said, I've got a nice little female. Tree squirrel's good, but her mouth ain't worth a dime, And I thought, well, average bear, would breed that dog, sell pup. He said, I ain't going to breed her. Because I don't want my reputation run down here with a dog he ain't got much mouth,
Yeah.
I want a dog with a mouth. So he said, I'll sell her somebody just a pleasure hunter.
Yep.
And not a competition man.
Yep.
I said, I respect you, Adam, for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Adam's a good dog, man. I had him and the podcast, him and his dad on the podcast, and got to go hunt with him. And
where you think that Crazy Horse?
I got to see Crazy Horse go. We made a couple trees. It was middle of the summer. It was hot.
Yeah.
I was huffing and puffing, that's for sure.
Well, a guy showed me a video the other day of him, and now you talk about a guy breaking a dog. I guess I just don't have that kind of patience. Adam said, I won't hunt them early like you do. I wait till he gets 7 or 8 months old.
Mm-hmm.
I obedience train him, first thing I do.
Yeah.
Teach them sit, load, handle, heel, and all this good stuff, And but Chuck told me he went with him last year and had 2 dogs. And one got ahead, the other, he said probably 75 to 100 yards and treed. Well, one come by and Adam told him to sit down. Now, that, it sounds like a story, but if I had known how they do, he made that dog sit down. They went there and shot that squirrel, come back, the dog's still sitting there. Huh?
That's crazy.
I said, now that's just hard to imagine,
Yeah.
But he's a dog handler.
Mm-hmm.
I've been up to their house a different time, but now I watched that video with Crazy Horse the other day. He walked right along by his heel. And they got to the edge of the field, and it looked like maybe a couple of 100 yards, pretty good distance across the judging across this field to the woods. He finally, I couldn't understand what he said, but when he said go, crazy horse shot out like he shot out of a gun. And next thing you heard him, he was in them woods, trees, And the next, him and his son was hunting. And the next tree, same way, he walked right along by him till he told him to go.
Yeah.
Now he's a dog handler.
He is.
I don't have mine broke that way, but now the pup I got down there now fooling with is out a crazy horse.
Okay.
And Sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke Sky years ago.
Yeah.
Sold her to some guy in Tennessee, and then Loudon got her from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before you got in with the Loudons and started hunting their dogs, what were you hunting before that?
I got some dogs out of Orville Dyer, guy out of Vanceburg, Kentucky, down what would be southeast of Cincinnati, I guess.
Okay.
One I had was a blackmouth cur. Blackmouth.
Yeah.
He was half blackmouth and half mountain cur.
Okay.
But it was a super good dog. I hunted him for a while, and then bred one to. I got off of him, I guess. I bred. What's his name? Over in Ohio. Him and Franklin, Alan Franklin. Yep. I bred her to Alan Franklin's dog, and she had a weakness that I didn't like. Grab a tree on. I mean, you just couldn't hardly get a tree on that dog talk. I mean, if she'd have a squirrel. But if your dog treed 50 yards, 100 yards away from her, started treeing good, I'm done with this. She'd fly to him,
Gotcha.
But I bred her to Thundersport, and I know Franklin said you shouldn't have never sold that dog because she's a producer,
Yeah.
I kept them pups, and about every one that I raised out of that litter would tree. I mean, just some of them wasn't 4 or 5 months old. I'd walk the whole litter around through the woods, One of them one day I said, that pup must have got lost. It started barking. I went and looked over the bank. It feet up on a tree. But they all together different. I had one out of the same litter. Now this dog would track. And I had another one out of the same cross. Would go down through there, and she'd go a ways and stop, stand, look, and listen. And then all at once, she'd go over the bank. And I know she couldn't see him because he'd be over a hill or something. But you kill more squirrel to her than you did the one that tracked him up,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way this pup is out of Crazy Horse and Sky. I'm working for this guy down there now. That's the way she hunts. She'll go a little piece and stop and look and listen.
Yep.
But now it's so green, I ain't giving her no reward.
Yep.
I think I'm going to quit taking her till the leaves get down a little bit more. I took her yesterday a little hike, and she shot out through the woods, barked once, and what are you doing? I eased out that way. She was just standing out there looking up in the trees. I said, it's up there somewhere, but you don't know where, and I don't either. And them green leaves, you can't find them, So, bad hunting right now. I think I'm going to hang it up till the leaves get down. But yeah.
What's your favorite part about starting a puppy?
I guess just walking them and seeing them aggress,
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone you get don't make it, but if they're well-bred pups, I can usually get them trained, I had one guy, and I never thought a guy could be that way, but he called me back a few years back. You tell me you're a squirrel hunter and break dogs? I said, yeah, I handle a few of them. And he said, well, I got this dog, and I took it hunting, and it won't tree nothing. I said, how old is it? It's like a year old. I said, so? How did it do when you're working it? Oh, I never had it out. He said, I thought if you brought, now this is what he told me. He said, I thought if you brought a well-bred dog, when it got grown, it'd tree squirrel. I said, honey, it ain't that easy. You gotta, there's a lot of woods time. Shoe leather goes in breaking a dog. Hound or cur, either one. You gotta walk them, let them know what you want.
Exactly.
Let them, praise them for doing this and that and other. But he said, if I knowed that's the way it was, I wouldn't have got him. He said, I thought if he grew up to a year old, you'd take him squirrel on the or tree squirrel. No, not hardly. Don't work that
Not
way.
quite the way it works.
But talk about praising them. I'm pretty bad. I bred a dog to, what was his name? Guy had him down Corbin, Kentucky. He'd won some national hunts with him a stretch, and I went down and bought a pup off of him, and kept it a while, and then she came in heat. I took her back and bred her back to stretch or back to her dad.
Yeah.
And I know a guy or two said, "What was you thinking? Them dogs would be crazy. Their tails may come out their back. What was you thinking?" I said, "I'm thinking about trying to get some squirrel dog," and they made super good dogs.
Oh, I'm sure.
And nice looking dog. Well, that guy come up from Kentucky and squirrel hunted with him, and well, the dog tree, while I get from here at that tree, I start looking for that squirrel. And he said, "Russ, I don't know how you got a dog with him, tree a squirrel for you." I said, "What are you talking about? You never go in and praise him." He said, "Go in and pet on that dog and let him know you're happy with what he does." I said, "When I shoot that squirrel out, to me, that's his reward."
You'll know then.
But he had, like I said, he had the daddy a stretch, but he a competition hunt, which I don't.
Yeah.
But he'd go into that tree, and if that dog got his feet off that tree, he'd get back on there. But he's petting on, good boy, good boy. And most of the time, he never had his feet off that tree.
Yep.
He said, "I want him up on that tree at all time." But all I'm looking for is squirrel. I don't care if he's on the tree or under it, or as long as he ain't milling,
Yep.
But yeah, different guys, different opinions, and yeah.
What's the best squirrel dog you've ever had?
That one I had out loud and stuff might have been that I sold him to a guy. And, well, in fact, Adam come tried him out, and he was in August, like this time of year, and he treed, and he said, "You ever hunt him with other dogs?" And I said, "I'm pretty much one man, one dog, and because you'll get a Me Too dog if you ain't careful hunting two or three together."
Yeah.
And so we turned him loose back. I said, "Now," he said, "I'll come over Sunday." He's going up Kenny Smith's above Muncie. And I said, "You can," he said, we turned him loose. I said, "We'll go after church on Sunday." And we turned him loose, and he treated a squirrel. We seen it. And he said, "I'll take him and go on up Muncie." But I didn't know him that good back then. Maybe I should have let him and took him. But he said, "I'm going to take him and hunt him with 3 or 4 other dogs up there. Different dog each drop, seveal, how you do with other dogs." And I said, I'll bring a dog up and we'll go. I ain't going for you to take my dog with me not alone."
Yeah.
And so we went up there, and he done what he said. He had about 3 or 4 different dogs to meet us in different places, turned loose, and he was hot, man. And he was the only dog made a tree. And so he never bought him. He wanted to go again that afternoon. We went in town and got something to eat and drink. And I said, "That's enough. It's too hot." And he was soft and, hadn't been hunted. And, well, he didn't buy him, long story short. But I sold him to another guy, and that guy renamed him Super Black Eagle.
Yep.
And won hunts with him. Chuck said, "I already killed that Adam for not buying him." I said, "Well, I maybe already took him another hunt, but it was hot, and I just didn't want to do it."
So the best dog you've ever had was probably...
It probably was. I mean...
What did you call him?
I called him Buck, but they called him then after I've sold him.
Yeah, Michael Lovejoy got him.
Super
Black Eagle.
Super Black Eagle.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. But, yeah, you could take him a squirrel hunting. He'd tree squirrel after squirrel. And like I said, a lot of them he'd be 20, 30 feet off a tree. You take him a coon hunt, God, he'd blow you out of the woods of a night, because he just trees so many wind in them up there.
Yeah.
That other dogs wouldn't know what he's doing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend that took a female and tried to breed her to him, and I was going to get a pup out of that, but unfortunately she didn't take.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She was out of a Thundersport and a jukebox daughter.
Yeah.
So I wanted one of them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she didn't take. So
yeah. Yeah, Thundersport throwed some good dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I went over and bred to him one time, and well, before I bred that dog, me and a friend of mine, we was kind of scouting out what we was going to breed this dog to,
Mm-hmm.
And I went down southern Indiana. I'll not tell you his name, but we went down there, and I said, I want to see your dog go before I breed.
Yeah.
And well, we got down there, and it was a cold, bad day, a little snow on the ground, and we turned loose, and I didn't take my dog, of course, just wanted to see what his male was like. And he'd bark here and there and yonder. He don't bark on track, but what's he making all this noise for then? And he treed once, and we couldn't find no squirrel. Well, I bred him last night or something. He's tuckered out. I thought, sounds good, but I don't see nothing that really turned me on. So I went over and bred her to Thunder Sport.
Yeah.
When he said, you want to breed her again? And I said, no, that's enough. She's in heat and stayed there. He fed him a little bit and watered him, and he started to take off across the field to the wood. I thought, well, he said that his dog was wore out from breeding, and here at Thundersport just getting off and resting, drank a little water and eat a little bit of food, and he's ready to go hunting. I said, nah. But, yeah, difference in dogs, huh?
Yep.
And different handlers.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Any advice for somebody? I said you've been in this a long time. You got any advice for somebody?
Well, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. You spend a lot of time in the woods with them.
Mm-hmm.
Be good to your dog, and maybe better than I am on some of mine, praising them. I got one. I got to thinking about that deal about that me kicking that one, and he took me a while to make up with him. I got one down there now. Mike was showing you a picture a while ago. They wasn't a year old last year, and Mike bought the pup, and I bought one with sisters,
Okay.
And so anyhow, I was hunting mine about every day. Well, Mike's working; he couldn't hunt his, and well, we'd take her on the weekend, take her on Saturday when he was off or something, and she was tree a little bit, was a little looser on the tree.
Yeah.
And mine, of course, I'd kill a lot of squirrel in mine. And he said, I ain't going to be able to break that pup. I can't get enough time off. He's got a grandson in ball, run. So I bought her off him and started hunting her by herself. And she's coming along good. And I coon hunted her. Last 4 times I think I've had her out. She's treed coon every night and trees hard.
Nice.
And but I go in and praise her and pet on her. And then too, when I go over to feed her, dogs pick up on the stuff. I used to just go over and dump feed out and see you got water, and then above ground kettle. I'm going way back to the house. I thought maybe I ought to just talk to you a little bit. So I go over and now I feed her, and I pet her on her and scratch her ears. How you doing, girl? Pet on her, Now I go over and dump feed, she'll raise her head up. You gonna pet me?
Yep.
They take a liking to that.
For
so
sure.
I do that when I go to the tree, and like I said, the last 4 trees, she stuck that tree good, and I thought, well, one thing, she get a little more age on her, and then I'm petting on her and praising her. I'm hoping that makes her hang in squirrel trees good this winter, and got a good mouth and hunts hard and fast. So, yeah. Well, I probably about been to you long enough, and
well, I appreciate you sitting down with me.
Not a problem.
It's a beautiful day here at Autumn Oaks. I'm glad we've had some good weather this year.
Yeah,
last year it was hot.
All we need now is a good rain. It's super dry down with me. I bet I doubt if I've had a half-inch rain in the month of August.
Yeah, we've been real dry too.
But the Lord's been good. Our sweet corn come on good. My tomatoes, I've had Oodland's tomatoes. So
yeah,
I don't know how they're doing it, but they working.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it, Russ. Enjoyed this.
All righty. Good talking to you.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep 'em talking in the timber.